So this is my first five-figure trade. I never in my life thought that I will be making so much money from just one single trade. So as you can see here that I was able to make $10,600 from gold, and it was a swing trade and I was able to make 530 pips. I only took this trade with two standard lot, and I took this trade on my $200,000 funded account from Funding Talent. I wanted to take this trade on my Forex Funds $100,000 challenge account too, but I could not do that because this was the swing trade, and it's very hard to do swing trading on my Forex fund because how they calculate their daily drawdown. So I took this trade on my funded account which I got from Funding Talent, and as you all know that I am trading their $200,000 funded account. So in last week I was able to receive approximately $2,600 payout from Funding Talent, but I am very sure that next month on mid of October, my payout will be the biggest payout yet from Funding Talent. So I will be updating you in that video when I will make a video about my payout. But today, this video is all about my 530 pips trade on gold. So I am going to break down every single thing, that why I took a trade, from where I took a trade, where did I exit, and why I was able to make so much money from just one trade. So welcome back guys. If you are new here, please consider subscribing as I upload trading videos regularly to share my trading knowledge with you guys. And guys, if you want to join funding companies like my Forex funds or Funding Talent, check out the link in description. And with that being said, let's get into the computer screen and talk about all the strategies that I used to take this trade. So this was the entry from where I took a trade on gold, and I took this trade on 1 hour time frame, but my analysis started from daily. So this was my entry price, this was my stop loss, and this was my take profit. I closed this trade at price of 1760.01, and my stop loss on this trade was 200 pips. So it was because a swing trade, so I had to put a very big stop loss and I had to take a very big risk even on my $200,000 funded account from Funding Talent. So my risk on this trade was 2%, which is very, very high. I do not really do that, but the reason why I took such a high risk on the trade is because this was my favorite structure on gold. And I usually don't like to trade with such high risk, but whenever I see this kind of structure, especially on gold, then I go big. So I took a trade with 2% risk and I was able to make 5.3% from this single trade. So if I go to the daily time frame, you can see that we were going down and down from this price to this price. We were going down. So I knew that because we had such a big movements in the recent time, so whenever market tries to come back, it comes back to a very key spot areas or resistance areas. So this was a short trade. So I was expecting the market to come towards this area and starts to reject from it. And obviously, I was not going to take a trade right after the rejection. I wanted to see how the price will react from this trade, what will the market do, and what will be the market structure when it will reach towards this area. So I waited to see this price to come towards this area, and I was waiting for a very, very long period of time when the market was here. I wanted to see how we will come to this price and what will be the price action when it will reach this price. So as you can see that because we have a very strong resistance area, so I am going to mark this here, and this was the whole analysis that I did on daily. I usually trade on 15-minute and 1 hour time frame. So the reason why I took a trade on 1 hour is because this was a swing trade and I wanted to hold this for a very long period of time. So if I go down to 4 hour, you can see that when market started to pull back after this big down movement, creating a supply area here. So this was a very nice supply zone, and once it created this supply area, it came down and started to pull back. And when it was pulling back, I was waiting to see that how buyers are coming. And you can see that initially the buyers were strong when they first started their move. But after this small sellers movement, buyers tried again, but sellers came right back in. And just compare this movement to this movement, and then compare these sellers here to these sellers here. You can see that we can clearly see that these sellers were weak, but these sellers are strong as compared to the previous sellers. And here the buyers are weak as compared to this buyers movement. And the reason that why buyers are getting weaker and why sellers are trying to get strength is because we are approaching towards the price of this resistance area or this supply area, whatever you want to call it. So I was saying, we are getting some strength from sellers and we are getting some weakness from buyers, and we are approaching this area. So it could be very interesting to see the rejection from here. So when I started to wait, the market made another movement up, and when it made another movement up, it held above this resistance area, created a support, and that is what I wanted. That is the key point, because if I want to sell, I need to see some buyers, and to see the buyers we need to see that buyers are holding above the previous resistance areas, and that is what is happening here. We are holding above the previous resistance and support areas to go up, but the overall sellers, the higher time frame sellers, are sitting at this area, this supply area. So when we made a support here after testing this resistance, we went up. So that was the time when I prepared myself to take an entry, because I wanted to see a very strong movement from the sellers, because I knew that once these sellers started to come in, initially they were weak. As you can see, the strength from the sellers, they were very small candles, but I was also looking at the distance that buyers were making. You can just compare the distance of this movement up, then distance of this movement up, then distance of this movement up, and then the distance of this movement up. You can see that buyers seem to be struggling to make a higher high and higher low. They are making a higher high. Obviously, we can see that they are making higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. But just compare the strength between every higher high and higher low sequence. It does look like that the buyers are struggling to go up. So that is what I wanted. I wanted to see the struggle from the buyers, and I wanted to see the reduction in the overall movement distances. So when it happened and I compared this movement up to this movement up, and you can see that this was a very weak movement. So I waited to see a very strong movement from the sellers. And I also wanted to see that we should not be holding above this area. So that is the time when I went down to 1 hour, because I wanted to take this trade from 1 hour time frame. And we can see that when market came towards this area, we rejected and we went up. But just compare and just look at how after going up, sellers came right back in. And when they came right back in, we were somewhere here, like this price 18. Yes, this was the price. So when we were here and we were unable to go up, and we started to came down, and we are coming down aggressively regardless of this resistance area, and we are unable to hold above this whole area, even though we went up, but we rejected from the buyers and sellers came right back in. So I took a trade at this area and I put my stop loss just above this area. It was a 210 pips stop loss, and my target was around 1760 price. So this was the reason that why I took a trade from here, why I put a stop loss at this area, and why my target was here. I could have waited until the market comes towards this area, because that is the price from where the buyers started to come up, and there is a high probability that we will be testing this area. I could have done that, but I wanted to close my position because that is the first time that I made 5 figures from just one single trade. So I did not want to miss that. And we can obviously find another opportunity. And as of now, the way the market are moving up, I am waiting to see that how we will come back towards this area, this whole breakout area. And if we come back something like this, like a struggle from the sellers, and we starts to hold under this whole area, then I am preparing to go short again, and my stop loss will be somewhere here and my final target will be here. If I see any sort of opportunity here, I will update you guys in another video. I will most probably be taking this trade too if there is an opportunity, and I will try to make a lot of money from this trade too. So this was the whole breakdown of my trade on gold, where I was able to make more than 500 pips, and it took me around 7-8 days to make 5 figures. And that is the reason that I did not took this trade on my Forex Funds $100,000 phase 2 account, which I am currently doing, because they calculate their daily drawdown in a very weird way. So I did not want to make any kind of mistake on my challenge account. So this is it from this video, guys. I hope that you got some value out of this video. And guys, please subscribe if you have not yet. And I will see you in the next video.